Hey guys, what's up? All right. It's Double Deuce back with another segment on the Toyin and the other engines that are out there. So stay tuned and we'll get into some gearbox talk, transfer case talk, and briefly touch on some clutches. And I might get some battery talk in there too, so stay tuned and here we go. So everybody knows that I kind of a mad scientist when it comes to throwing stuff together and doing like crazy builds and all that stuff. So it's like seriously, I got up today, it was like 17 degrees out. It is freezing cold out. So I thought, well, you know what I'll do? I'll get get updated on some fresh content for you guys. So you in the past you've probably seen my builds, my NR 200 in my Chevy Blazer, water cooled, pretty good engine. I like that engine a lot. And now over here I got a couple of Toyota builds. So if you see my last video, you know that I bought the new Toyin Sand Cruiser. Now that one, it's not water cooled, it's just an air cooled X-Power motor or engine, whatever you want to call it. That is currently on its way to me now, and so we'll be doing some build videos on that one, and we'll go over the kit with a fine-tooth comb, and then we'll go from there. So anyways, like I say, I've done my L400s, which is over here. I did the V8 L400. I'm still messing with that, and I did my Skyline with the L400, and then I did my JK Max Capo Jeep with the V400 in it. So anyways, now when I got into these builds here, this one here is pretty scale. It has a 2-speed high and low transfer case, which these are all over eBay for about 50 bucks. These are pretty good gearboxes. I'm not sure what the ratio is, but they have a high and a low range in them, and it's kind of big, but it's super heavy duty, and like I say, it's got the high and low range. You can switch them from high to low, and has your input and then 2 outputs. So now this is the 3-speed or 4-speed gearbox, they call it, but it's actually a 3-speed gearbox that they sell on Sterlingkit. Now I've got a couple of these. Now they don't look exactly like this because I added the wings on it here because I was building a project at the time, and I may change it up just a little bit to make it look more scale. What I found out with these gearboxes is I was always putting a big spur gear on the end, but if you look at the gear ratio in the thing, it's pretty fine. It's a fine gear ratio. They got your first, second, third. You can see how they get bigger, and then back here with that counter shaft is your reverse. It's got a little counter shaft right there. That's your reverse, and so like I say, I put a big spur gear on them, and because I was always trying to line them up to the the engine itself, and so then I would put a clutch on that. Now one thing I found I could do is on the front shaft here, because you can move the shaft back and forth. This is a really good workable gearbox, because you can change the configuration around, you can change your gears around if you want to, and put a spur gear on the front, or you can put a 2-speed on the front of this. Okay, so there would actually be a 5-speed, 5 forward speeds and 1 reverse, so it would be a 6-speed, and a neutral, because on the new Toyin Sand Cruiser, they claim that's a 5-speed gearbox, but it's got 3 forward speeds, a neutral, and a reverse. So they consider a neutral a speed, but so it would be a 5-position gearbox actually. So on this here, I thought, man, it would be cool if you had like a 3-speed with a reverse, transfer case hooked to it with a high and low range, and a lockable clutch. So I'm working on right now a lockable clutch with, I'm getting my ideas together, and I'm going to contact Sterlingkit because we're going to kind of throw some ideas together to see what would be more feasible for a manual clutch for this 3-speed gearbox. Now I got a couple of ideas in my head. I don't know, I got to work them out yet to see how it'll work out. But I'm thinking on the Sand Cruiser, it's got a direct drive with a one-way bearing off the clutch that slides over their 3-speed or 5-speed gearbox, and they're running, I believe, a 2.2 tire on that. So over time, I'm trying to get something that's super scale, and these here are close. You know, these are close, but this here is probably the closest because it's got automatic start. It's got onboard igniters for the glow plugs. And this one's actually running the Kyosho forward reverse with the 2 speeds gearbox in it. Nitro tracker, that's what it is. And I had put a transfer case on the back of that. One of these, you know, with a high and low range in it. Cison come out with a new 4-stroke, 4-cylinder gasoline version of an engine. Now, here's a picture of it. If you can see, there's a cigarette lighter sitting on top of this thing. So it's a really small engine. It's like 17 and a half cc's or something. I don't know. It's got a lot of, you know, it looks like it's going to have a lot of potential, this little engine. It runs off spark plugs, gasoline. It has its own separate oiling system, so you can run straight petrol, gasoline, whatever you want to run in it, whatever you call it. And it has its own oiling system has splash oil in it. So my thoughts are, so I ordered one. My thoughts are, is to connect it with this 3-speed gearbox with a manual type clutch. So now you've got an engine that idles like a real 4-stroke gasoline engine. You will have a 3-speed with a reverse gearbox, some kind of a manual clutch, and I'd like to put in this 2-speed transfer case in here, so I'd have a high and low transfer case in it. And being it's gasoline, it's a, you know, it's one of the first gasoline miniature 4-stroke multi-cylinder engines that, you know, is offered to us. So I imagine there'll probably be some, you know, some hang-ups with it and all that, but still, it's something we can work with. And you know, we know what our problems are with these little engines here. This one here so far, the only problem I've had with this little NR200 is it gets pretty hot. And the carburetor could be just a little bit bigger, not by much. But, you know, the all 200s, you know, multi-carburetors is a little, you know, it's complicated at times. The one thing that I'm excited about with the Sand Cruiser, it's one carburetor of a fuel pump. And they said that over time, once the kit's released, after a while there, they want to get, you know, those single carb fuel pumps with the kits. I don't know if they're going to offer them later. I imagine they probably will. But that, and if they would, you know, offer that gearbox down the road with the intake manifold with the one, you know, carb on it with the fuel pump, that would be pretty cool. So anywho, like I say, so I got the, you know, the new Cison 4-stroke 4-cylinder coming, and I don't know what I'm going to put it in yet. I've got some ideas in my head. It looks small enough to go into a 1/10 scale or a 1/8 scale. So the dimensions were close to both of these engines. So That's not a bad thing. Now I know I can stick an L400 in one of these, but I just have to, like, move the radiator somewhere else. If I want the engine sticking forward in it. And you can see the L400 is basically more of an 8 scale or up engine. And now I have some news on that. When they sent me the new replacement engine with the bigger bearing in it, I've got 4 tanks of fuel through that thing, and I've had no problems with it. So that's a good thing. I didn't mess with the head gasket or nothing in it. The V8 over there has got the thicker head gaskets in it, and it's so far so good with that. You know what I'm saying? So, but the bigger bearing, I think the crankshaft was flexing in the front, not the back. And I think that's what, because that crank would break almost exactly on the same spot on every crank that I've seen break. So hope they're on to something good with that, and I'll give you some more updates on that too. So like I say, I'm excited to work with Sterlingkit to come up with some kind of a clutch setup for that new engine. And it's going to be I think it's going to be a game changer, because this is like the dawning age of this right now. I mean, we started off with these conversions and stuff, and because they're pretty cool, and then Toyota come out with the Sand Cruiser, and now Sterlingkit's offering the Cison engine that's gasoline now, and and they sell the gearboxes right now. You can get this in a forward reverse, or you can get the 3-speed with the reverse. And so I imagine down the road there's going to be a lot of new things coming up. I remember back in the early '80s there, when the Tamiya Hilux come out, the first one with the locking hubs and all that stuff. I had my previous video there, and then the cheaper version of it, I think that came out in June of like '82 or something, was the Blazing Blazer. And so the Hilux was out first, and then the Blazing Blazer come out, and then the Bruiser come out. And, after that, I wanted a monster truck. So I remember how special that time was, because none of that stuff was ever offered before. It was something new, you know what I mean? And so with all this new technology coming out with these gasoline and nitro multi-cylinder engines, this is something you're going to look back on down the road and say, wow, what a time that was, I don't know, cars are changing big time in our real world, because, in a few years they want them all, or most of them, to be electric, and and I've got, nitro running through my veins. I'm a rod and piston guy, and I love the sound of an engine. I don't care what kind of an engine it is, but electric is very powerful. It's very sudden. It's pretty violent, and with the brushless stuff. And but these here, I love the sound of getting this out there. Like several times I almost bought sound kits for my electric vehicles, but I thought, why? They're cool. Don't get me wrong, and they're clean. They're very clean. You take the battery out, kind of dust them off, wash them off from the mud or whatever. And yes, the nitros do get greasy and dirty, but hey, that's the part of the hobby I like, because it's a more real thing going on. So like you say, stay tuned. I'm going to have more on the engine when I get the information. It's probably not coming out, they said, until March of 2022. So that's a few months away. Give them time to, they've got, from what I was told, they have most of the parts made already. And they're pre-selling 50 engines right now that are going to be together, I guess. Now, I guess it's going to be available in a kit version too, because I did see on the Sterlingkit Facebook page, they did mention that the down the road, they haven't carved this in stone yet, but the kit version will be cheaper. So I use the coupon code that they have there to get mine. So, you know, it saves you a couple $100. You know, that's good. So, and I don't know what the price will be when they get it all said and done, because this is all new. Everything's, you know, it's just thrown out there. And so I'll have more on that, and I'll have more on the Sand Cruiser. And I did get I guess I partnered with a company for batteries, because I've had many different batteries. Let me grab one here real quick. And Ovonic. These are the batteries that I had partnered with this company. I was really impressed with these batteries. I mean, you know, I'm not like I say, I'm not a guy that really likes to say, oh yeah, you know, buy this because it's, you know, it's because it's, you know, I sponsor it or something. But the reason I was very interested in these batteries is because, you know, they're the price right, and they're good batteries. They don't, you know, I've had other batteries that after a couple of times you run them, and then all of a sudden they just seem to not charge correctly and all that stuff. But now I bought these here from my Arma Felony, and I have beat these batteries stupid. And you know, this is you know, every other pack. If you look at this pack, it is not swelled up at all or nothing. I have severely taxed this battery, and both I have two of these actually, and you can see they're 8,000 milliamp. They're only 50C. Now I've had a couple of 80 and 100C batteries with the hard packs that blow right up, you know, and I had to throw them out. But so far these things are, and they're coming in all different sizes. So I've got them sending me a couple of smaller packs, you know, for stuff like this, because you know this is what we're going to use, and you know, the smaller the lighter. Basically, we're only going to need these things for our, you know, our starting capabilities to start the engines up, and to run our receivers and whatever, you know, options we have, whether you're running lights, winch, you know, a gyro, anything that, you know, we can throw in there. But if I can get a lighter pack, which there, you know, supposedly there's a couple of them coming, I want to test fit these things in the trucks here, because some of these big packs are just too big, you know, and we can all use the drone batteries and all that stuff, and but you know, like I say, for now, I'm gonna give these guys a shot, because I am, like I say, I was really surprised that these don't puff up. They don't, you know, they balance out every single time when I go to charge these things. They balance out. So, but I'll have more on these when I get the other ones. I'll do a video just for those, you know, to show you guys. But for now, like I say, I'm trying to stay warm inside, and I guess I'll watch Top Gear or Motor Trend TV, or if not, I'll put on some old YouTube movies. A lot of car movies on there. A lot of RC car things going on there. And speaking of you know, hobbies and stuff, if you guys are into models at all, I know I am. I probably have, if not, it's down in my basement. I don't know. I kind of say, yeah, I guess I inherited them all from my son who passed away. He was heavily into the plastic models and you know, the die casts and all that stuff. And my brother, he was into the NASCARs and stuff. He has probably, and you know, he passed away, so now his models are available down there. And I think, you know, I told his daughter to get them, but he, you know, he probably had another, you know, 400 or 500 kits, because we collected them back in the day. But there's a great channel out there. It's I'll put a link in the description down below. It's Steve Mag. He's from Motor Trend TV. Yeah, and, you know, he's a pretty cool guy. I mean, you know, he has some really cool tips on scale modeling, and he's a numbers guy. You know, he's the guy that, you know, like if he would come up to my Camaro or my 70 Chevelle, he would look right at it and he'd show the date. He would show what transmission's in it. You know, he knows by the numbers what the cars are, you know. And He knows how many are produced. He's like a walking encyclopedia. But he is that way with his model kits too. So you get a chance, check out his channel. I think you'll be really impressed with it, because some of his builds are pretty cool, because he's a seat of the pants guy just like you and I, you know. And that's the best. That's what I like, you know. I like you know, somebody who, you know, got dirt under their fingernails and you know, gets right into it and has made mistakes in his life, you know, and he's learned from them just like we all have. But so you get a chance, check out that. You know, like I said, I'll put the link below, and like I say, that's about all I got for you guys today. So, you know, like, share, subscribe. You know, hit that notification bell for the upcoming videos of Gearbox's, the new Cison 4-cylinder, and of course the Toy and Sand Cruiser, which I got coming too. So. You know, like I say, it's there's a couple of chassis that I'd like to use that Cison 4-cylinder in. I'm gonna have to buy them and get them here. One of them would be, I mean, I have tons of these Toyotas laying around here, but I thought about doing something. That engine itself deserves a really nice scale chassis, and I'm thinking about the LC80. Because that's a pretty scale chassis. It's big bucks. I mean, it's huge bucks. I should have bought it a long time ago when they first come out, because right now they're like, you know, double of what they were advertised for last year when you know, I first seen them. So, but you know, that's something to chew on and think about for a while. So I'm going to get back with getting this one running again over here, because the fuel all gummed up in it, because I was an idiot, and we've all done it. And, you know, you put it on the shelf, and then you jump on a bunch of other projects and everything else, and then next thing you know, you get it off the shelf and the fuel's turned into goop. So you got to get that cleaned out, empty this out, clean this out, put them on the shelf for a little while till the weather gets better, and we'll go from there. So you guys have a great weekend and rest of the week, and I'll catch you later, man. Adios.